Hey, y'all, we are live, and this is not an episode of Poli Side-Eye. I just want to do some fun, like a fun hot topic with Jared. And look, with pop culture, he may not know Housewives, but you are tapped in entertainment as far as, music, especially movies too. And I just came from Philly where we watched the Golden Globes. And, we always like to talk about basically award season, like what movie's going to come out on top, who you think is going to be best actor, actress, etc. So yeah, I know the big thing right now is everyone is talking about Sinners, and they already had that controversy about how Variety didn't want to give them their flowers when they were doing great. But now, award season is here, and I guess some people are expecting them to win the big ones. And so far, with what award shows happened already? The Golden Globes and what else?
Critics' Choice.
Critics' Choice. So yeah, they did not win the big awards, but yes, here we are right now. So they didn't win Best Picture, and yeah, some people are upset. And I just want to know, will they be shut out this award season? When it comes to the big awards, I think they're still going to win some.
So by big awards, we mean like picture, the acting categories, those types, right?
Best director, that.
Yeah. So first, I think we should say, let me just put all of them on the table. I know a lot of your viewers may not watch Poli Side-Eye, so people may not know that the role I've embraced in life is to be a provocateur. So yeah. I say things.
Disclaimer alert. Disclaimer.
I say that because people, sometimes when we step outside of Poli Side-Eye and people are like, "Who the hell is this?" So anyway, my role, I'm always trying to get us to think about things that we otherwise wouldn't. So I think the first thing we need to acknowledge is that at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because it's just an award show. So it's not worth getting upset about, getting mad about. And if you feel yourself getting angry about this, you should do something with your friends or something more meaningful. So I just wanted to put that out there. Mm-hmm. So here's the thing with Sinners. First off, it's a vampire movie. So we know that these awards voting bodies they're very bourgeois in the sense certain things they're going to go for and certain things they're not. They have a vendetta. Vendetta is probably too strong a word, but there is a bias against comic book movies, even a lot of fantasy movies. You very rarely get fantasy movies that win. The notable exceptions are the Lord of the Rings or even Star Wars did win Best Picture. So it's not often that happens. So I think all of that should be said from the outset, because if you think about all of that, then thinking of this as a snub, I think makes a lot more sense. So to answer your question, do I think they're going to win any of the big awards? I actually think Sinners has a good chance to win Best Original Screenplay, which is a big award. You shouldn't downplay screenplay. I mean, if people didn't write the movie, you wouldn't have a movie. So that is a very big award. And the reason I think it has a good chance is because it's in original screenplay and not adapted screenplay, where One Battle After Another is pretty much a lock to win for adapted screenplay, because Paul Thomas Anderson, who made and wrote and directed One Battle After Another, has been nominated for 11 or 12 Oscars and never won. So it's his overdue year. So I think he's going to sweep most of the big director, picture, adapted screenplay. But there will be an opening for someone to win original screenplay. And I think Sinners would be a good big category to give Ryan Coogler something, especially because he has made such good movies over the last decade and a half, Fruitvale Station, obviously Black Panther, in the sequel. So people want to reward him. And I think that'd be a good place to do it. And to me, I think of it as a parallel to Get Out, when Jordan Peele was nominated in director and they got nominated for Best Picture and all these other categories. And they were well, we're not giving Get Out Best Picture or Best Director, but we will give Jordan Peele Best Original Screenplay because, we don't really like horror, but this is a good place to give it something big. So people don't be mad at us.
Well, I'm glad that you presented the nuance that it's not just about race, even though it could be, but there's other factors that's running against the movie winning Best Picture. Like you said, horror doesn't usually win, or sci-fi, whatever. So
Yeah.
it's good to see those factors also as well in the play, so people won't get too angry. Now, I want to know, just before we get into like, the politics of it, like, what do you think about the movie Sinners? Has people so passionate about like how it does at the awards? Like, because I enjoyed Sinners, it didn't hit me like that. Like, I would say Black Panther, I had a little bit more emotional connection to that movie than Sinners. Because I thought Black Panther was like, I would say top 5 Marvel cinematic movies in the MCU.
Well, you know what my favorite Marvel movie is. So, but yes, for those who don't know, my favorite Marvel movie is Eternals, because Eternals was so existential and so beautifully shot and so thought-provoking, and the audience just made it dust. But I won't get on my Eternal soapbox. So why do I think?
Wait, but the director, she's getting her flowers right now for Hamnet, right?
Yeah, so Chloe Zhao directed Eternals, but she's already won an Oscar before. She won Best Director and Best Picture for Nomadland. So she's not going to be really in the running this year, I don't think. So why do I think people love Sinners so much? I mean, I think it's a few things. I think that it was a very original story. And so I do think we are in this space where there is all this being made about, oh, everything's a sequel, everything's a reboot, everything's a reimagining, everything's a, something we've seen before. So I think the originality of it, I think, was something that drew people to it. And I also think it came out at a good time. Like, they released it in like late spring before the summer wave really hit. So it kind of had like a good solid month and a half to itself to kind of control the kind of capture the zeitgeist. So I think the timing helped. And I do think people like Ryan Coogler. Like, I think one thing that's interesting is I saw there's a really interesting piece. I can't remember. I think it may have been in maybe Entertainment Weekly. I don't remember. But they were talking about how we've talked about this before, like maybe casually, but like we don't really have movie stars anymore because people don't go to the movies for actors anymore. Like, that's kind of a dead, like before people would go to the movies if Julia Roberts was in it, like if Sandra Bullock, if Denzel was in it, like they were going to see it irrespective of what the movie was about. Like, they were going because they loved them. Whereas now what the article is saying is now you're starting to see directors in some ways become much more like A-list actors, which we've always had, like, certain directors that always drew an audience. So you had like your Steven Spielbergs and your Scorseses and people like that. Tarantino. Yeah. But so like similar to that, I think Ryan Coogler is becoming one of those directors. Like, people will go see his movies just because he's directing it, kind of like Christopher Nolan or directors like that. So I think there is the kind of like Ryan Coogler effect. And then, I mean, to be fair, it was just a good, fun movie. Like, it had a great cast. It was really well shot. It got people talking because I thought the trailers were juicy enough to not give too much of it away. So you didn't really I didn't really know what to expect from Sinners going in. And I think that kind of unexpectedness of it is what made people drawn to it. And so I think because of all that, people feel really passionate about it. And when you have these movies, when people feel really, really passionate about the movies, like, I do think people get a little bit more aggressive in some of their positions about like how well they think the movie should be doing, because they're like, well, if I feel this strongly about it, why doesn't everybody else? So if everybody else doesn't feel this strongly about it, then it must be their bad. It must be something on them. So there is this kind of like externalization of their own kind of preferences and desires in a lot of ways.
As you know, I mean, I felt that way about, in the Grammys atmosphere when it comes to Lemonade as well as Renaissance, my number 1 and number 2 albums that like did not win album of the year. So I was really passionate about that. So I can see how some people are passionate in the movie space, but I just know that my favorite Oscar movie is not going to win. That just never makes sense. I mean, I just feel like, I'm trying to think, what was the last Oscar picture I really wanted to win? Well, I mean, I really did love Everything Everywhere All at Once in that one, but I feel like that was a shoo-in. I can't remember really, but I just knew from like real early not to like really get too involved heavily with the Oscars, because I'm always going to be disappointed, I feel like.
Well, I feel like that should be the case for anything. Like you shouldn't, if you base your whole kind of, if you want other people to validate what you like I think that's a recipe for disappointment. So like you should just like the things you like and not be concerned with what other people like. Like I thought last year the best movie of the year was The Brutalist. Like I don't think it was particularly close. Like that to me is one of the best movies I've seen probably in like the last 5 years. And it really was, I knew it wasn't going to win Best Picture for no other reason than it was 3.5 hours. So, you know, I think people, if you just accept that art is inherently subjective, which means that you're never going to be able to determine some type of objective measure of like what's good or what's the best. And so like, if you just think of it in that way as like an entertainment as a commodity, which is what award shows are, then you shouldn't be disappointed by it. And I always say that in some respects, the things that win are usually not the best things. If you think of the best as being the most groundbreaking or like the most creative or the most unique, because usually those things are going to be the things that are not as easily digestible because we're not used to seeing it. We're not used to hearing it. We're not used to engaging with something like that. So I often think that if you win, more times than not, like you won because your item was the most digestible for the vast majority of the voting body or whoever is deciding this, which that means you're probably in some ways appealing to a lower denominator, which is fine. Like I'm not saying I have like a monopoly of what's good or what's bad, but I do think that if you're thinking about the votes and how they accumulate, usually it's not the things that are going to be pushing the envelope that are going to win. Like that's kind of antithetical to like mass culture.
So here is what I guess what they have so far. The Critics' Choice Awards, they had 17 nominations and they won 4. I'm not really sure which 4 they won.
Yeah, at the Critics' Choice, they won. I think I'm pretty sure Coogler won original screenplay at the Critics' Choice, and then I know it won Best Score, and then I think it won Best Cinematography, and then maybe like Best Film Editing or something like that. It was mainly technical categories, but I'm pretty sure it won screenplay at the Critics'.
And Golden Globes, they won Cinematic and Box Office Achievement, which a lot of people are kind of like giving a screw face to. Like it's just like like a participatory award. Like it don't really count, but it's just like we're giving them something so the ninjas won't come for us.
But they did the same thing with Barbie. Barbie won that award when everyone knew Oppenheimer was going to win. They were like, well, let's just give it to Barbie because we know it's not going to win any of the big awards. Because again, they're not going to award a movie like about a Barbie doll. Like that's not what the Oscars are going to go for. Like we need to be real. Like we have like 90, almost a century's worth of data points to show us that.
They have 5 Grammy nominations, and of course, the NAACP Image Awards, they lead in movie nominations. So I'm pretty sure they'll get their love there. But yeah, I don't think they're going to win Best Picture, but
I'm an Oscar voter. I would vote for Sinners for Best Picture. Like no shade. Like it's cute, but it wouldn't even be in my top 3. But it's fine. Like I liked Sinners. I really did. I thought it was very creative. I thought it was very entertaining. I thought the acting was great. I saw someone said they wanted Wumi Masaku to get nominated for Best Supporting Actress. I agree. I think she was the best part of the movie. But I don't. People are acting like it's just some like unequivocally like if you vote for anything else like you're trapped. I'm like, okay, there are other good movies too.
Well, I honestly just want to see Ryan Coogler with an Oscar. And, some people want to see Michael B. Jordan with the Oscar, but I'm thinking of his performances because my controversial opinion is like his acting in Black Panther was like, I would say maybe I wasn't even checking for him in that. Like, I think this is one of his best performances. So I think he deserves a nomination. I'm trying to think what else he did that really was a good. Do you have any other?
He was good in the Creed movies.
He was good in Creed. He was. So yeah, I think a lot of people want to see Michael B. Jordan with the Oscar too, like them two specifically. But yeah, I would love to see Ryan Coogler with an Oscar because I just think he's a phenomenal director.
Yeah, like I said, I think he has a good chance to win screenplay. I think that is a I don't think it's a lock. Like, I think I would, to be honest, it wouldn't be my vote for best original screenplay, but I think it is a good screenplay, and I do think that he has a strong chance.
Mm-hmm. Well, who do you think? Like, do you think it's just stiff competition this year?
It's always stiff competition. You have what, 9 other movies to compete against? Like, of course.
Well, who do you think is gonna get original screenplay? Like, who's gonna?
Sinners, if I were predicting, if I were a betting man, I would bet on Sinners to win. I'm not saying I wouldn't be shocked if it didn't win, but like, again, if I were, I think the betting odds should be Sinners will win best original screenplay. Just because, again, in recent years, there's been some evidence that if there's like a movie that, especially because Sinners is, from what I was reading, there was an article, I want to say, and may have been Variety actually, talking about how Sinners could break the record for the most Oscar nominations in one year, which right now it's tied. It's Titanic and La La Land each got 14, and they're predicting that Sinners might get 15, which I think is, I think it's a very bold prediction. I'm thinking more like 13, because I don't think it's going to get into that. I think that 15 was assuming it would get into both supporting categories, and I don't think that's a guarantee. I think there's a good chance they could get into both, but I also think there's a good chance they could get into neither. So, but anyway, if it ends up with 15 nominations and all it wins are like the technical categories, like that's going to be kind of like, so you can nominate for all these things and like not give it any big awards. But that doesn't guarantee anything. We've had lots of movies. Tar, I love Tar with Cate Blanchett. I think they got like 10 Oscar nominations and didn't win anything. American Hustle got nominated for like 10 or 11 Oscars and didn't win anything. The Color Purple got nominated for like 10 and didn't win anything. So this happens. Like, they will nominate something a ton and not give it anything. Like, that is a viable path, but I don't think that's going to be the case for Sinner. And I do think it's going to sweep a lot of the technical categories. Like, I think it's going to win cinematography. I think it's going to win sound. I think it's going to win set design. I think it's going to win maybe even makeup. I think it's going to win maybe costuming. I think it's going to win cinema. So it might go home with about 8 when it's all said and done.
Makeup over Frankenstein and
potentially. I mean, I'm not saying it will. Again, I wouldn't be shocked because Frankenstein's going to win a lot of the technical categories too. But when they released the Oscar long list, so like the Oscars maybe like a decade ago started releasing the movies that qualified for the last 10 standing nominations before they give the final ones. Mm-hmm. And Sinners was like even nominated for visual effects, and I was like, but I didn't find the visual effects in Sinners to be exceptionally good. But yeah, I think it's going to do well.
Okay. What award shows are next? Like, there's BAFTAs, Oscars, and what else?
There's a lag. Yeah, there's a lag. So the next Act Movie Award isn't until SAG, I don't think, and that's not until like March 1st, I think. So February, there's pretty much no award shows. And then you have SAG the first week in February, then BAFTA is the second week, and then the Oscars are, I think, on March 15th. But there's a long gap in between. But you do get the nominations, because like you get Oscar nominations come out next week, and then BAFTA nominations come out the week after that. So you'll still be getting more things handed out. But the actual, nominations being announced, but the actual shows aren't until March.
Can you talk about like the trend and what to expect? Because let's say, Demi Moore when she won the Golden Globe, and I think she won one other award, right? And then Oscar snatched, didn't win it.
So yeah, she won Critics' Choice, she won Golden Globe, and she won SAG, the Screen Actors Guild. Now they call it the Actor Award. Now they call it the Actor Awards, but the Screen Actors Guild Awards. Yeah, she won all 3, and then she lost the BAFTA like a couple weeks before the Oscar, and ended up losing the Oscar. So when she lost BAFTA, I was like, oh yeah, she's probably out, because
right. That's what I wanted to know. Like, what? Like, for the people that don't know, it's just like, oh well, she lost the BAFTA. Like, why does that mean that her Oscar nom is in trouble? Because usually I don't really put too much stock into the Golden Globes too much, because I was like, ooh, Tiana Taylor won. Like, I hope this continues, but I hope people don't like start to think like, okay, well, she's a lock for the Oscar now. you know?
Yeah, I definitely don't think she's a lock. So the reason the Golden Globes matter is because, this is I saw somebody comment about this. Like, it's a campaign. So like, if you I remember I went to LA in like January or February one year, and I was just so struck by all of the like campaign materials, the billboards. Like as soon as I stepped off the plane, even in LAX airport, it was like, for your consideration, this movie, Golden Globe winner. So people use that as like a notch in their belt. And so like, obviously the media ecosystem is very conformist. So people like to, usually if somebody starts winning a lot of things, people will just like, oh, it's their time. And you'll just start voting for the front runner. So like, it does matter because you do catch up, you do gain momentum, but it's not like it matters in the sense that it's necessarily predictive, in the sense that just because you win the Golden Globe doesn't mean you're going to win the Oscar. So like, I usually wait until the BAFTAs to decide my pick. So like, it also depends on how your movie is doing. So like, if you are in a movie that's getting nominated a lot of other places, that to me suggests that you have a pretty decent chance, or not necessarily of winning, but at least getting a nomination, because you have to think about it from the standpoint of, if you're getting nominated in 12 different categories, that means these people have seen your movies. That means that in the bigger categories, it's not just your branch. So it's not just actors who vote for best actor or actress at the Oscars. It's not just directors who vote for best director. It's everybody. So like, you have to consider like, if the film editors, if the cinematographers, if the engineer, all these people like this movie this much, but then surely like you're going to be getting some votes in the main categories. Whereas if you're just the only person nominating your movie, like, or maybe only a few places, I was like, So when Demi didn't win the BAFTA, like what that suggested to me was that, okay, maybe people aren't fucking with the substance as much as we think. And the reason that's important is because the Oscars are an international voting block. So it's not just what American voters like. It's what people in Brazil like. It's what people in Europe like. It's what people in Asia like. And so like, certain movies just have a tougher sell. And from my understanding, so like, to give a concrete example, when Demi lost the BAFTA last year, I was like, okay, I think The Substance was a harder sell outside of the United States. And so I was worried because Honora was getting nominated in all these categories and winning in all these like international prizes. And so I was like, oh, well, it seems like Honora has more strength internationally, which bodes better for the Oscar. The same thing with Angela Bassett when she didn't win for Wakanda Forever.
That hurt so bad. That hurt so bad. Oh.
But what was my first point? Like, we need to remember that comic book movies, horror movies, sci-fi there's a built-in bias against them. So you have a heavier bar to clear to get recognition. Like, I still maintain if Heath Ledger had not died, I do not think he would have won the Oscar for The Dark Knight. I think he only won because it was posthumous. Like, I don't think he would have won if he had not been nominated. I genuinely don't think that. And so when Angela didn't win the Oscar, I was like, well, she was playing in a comic book movie. Like, that's just not what, and that was the only nomination it got, or maybe it got like best costuming or one other smaller category, but it didn't get nominated in Best Picture. It didn't get nominated in Director, Screenplay, none of the big top of the line, which to me suggests that it's not popular across the board. It's popular in kind of in silos.
Wait a minute. Wait.
Yeah.
Heath Ledger's been dead for a minute.
Damn, Heath Ledger been dead since like George W. Bush was the president. Like,
Jesus.
Literally.
I just that kind of made me chuckle a little bit.
Wow. Literally, George W. Bush was the president when Heath Ledger died. That was in 2007, I think.
Jesus. That was the last time I had a relationship. Anyway, I was about to ask. Oh, so I can't remember. Refresh my memory. Like, Angela Bassett won almost everything, right?
No, she won Golden Globe and Critics' Choice. She did not win SAG. So that was the first. That was the first kind of, the first sign that it was going to be tough sledding for her. And then Wakanda Forever didn't get nominated anywhere else. And so it's just kind of like Jamie Lee Curtis was in the movie that was sweeping everywhere. Again, everything everywhere all at once. And what ends up happening a lot of times in these movies that sweep, this is why I think Tiana Taylor actually has a decent chance to win, is because usually when you have a movie that's just like one battle after another is probably going to get 12 to 13 nominations. And it's also going to win picture, it's going to win director, it's going to win adapted screenplay, it's going to win film editing, it's going to win all these big categories.
You think it's going to do a sweep?
Not a full sweep, because I don't think it'll win Best Actress. I don't think it's going to win Supporting Actor. I don't think it's not going to sweep, but it's going to be the big winner. And so usually when you have a big winner like that, it's very rare that they don't give at least one acting winner. So like, I think she has a good chance to be the acting representative for the movie. Kind of like how in Oppenheimer, they were like, well, of course we like Robert Downey Jr. has to win. Like we can't have this big epic movie and like they not give it to, but Cillian Murphy won too. But generally there's at least, or with like 12 Years a Slave when Lupita won, like there usually is like one acting category that goes with the Best Picture winner. Not always, but that is more often than not. So I wasn't shocked when Jamie Lee ended up winning, because I was like, they're gonna give it to somebody from the movie, but you know.
I was so mad about Jamie Lee Curtis winning. I was like, that was not deserved.
So let's come back to the campaigning component, because I saw someone talk about in the comments about how much of the campaigning matters. So Jamie Lee Curtis, I mean, you talk to the directors and she pretty much got that movie like in front of audiences, because it was a super small independent movie. Like she's so beloved in Hollywood. She's been acting for like almost 50 years now. So like everybody knows her. She's worked with every major director. She knows everybody. She knows people who fund these movies. Like she was like, yeah, I called up Bob Iger from Disney and told him to greenlight a Freaky Friday sequel. Like she just has that pull. And so everybody loves her. And so like I do think that because she was so visible, because she was like, you know, hobnobbing with people and like really regaling people at these dinners and stuff. Whereas Angela, no shade, but she's just like, her speeches were boring. Like it was just giving very much like Black respectability. Like every speech was so buttoned up, and you know, Jamie Lee Curtis gave these speeches and she's like bubbly and funny and like dropping F-bombs and stuff.
Not too much on my good sis, on my auntie.
And Angela's like, oh, this is just such a big moment. I'm like, people don't want to hear that. Like that's why they love Emma Stone, because she's very self-deprecating and like she just has fun. And so like I think part of Angela's problem is that she took it too seriously, whereas Jamie was just like, oh my God, like this is crazy. And like it just was way more fun to award her than listen to Angela give this like Maya Angelou speech.
I respectfully disagree.
Her speeches were boring. I'm sorry. Like I like Angela, but like the speeches weren't giving. I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
In a good speech will take you far. Like if you have a good ass speech, a lot of times that can win you the award by itself. Like that's why it really pays. If you just get up there and read from that paper like some boring ass speech, that's gonna hurt your chances. Like you just have to be honest about it.
I can just hear my subscriber count going down.
Sorry, y'all.
So I would like to focus on these particular categories, because I think this is where I think people really want Sinners to win. So we can go through 4 of them. So I'm thinking Best Actor category, Director category, Best Picture, and Song. So let's start with Song. Song, I'm just thinking it's going to be golden. Like straight through every single award show. Like you can't escape that song. You can't say K-pop too much in a video, y'all. I'm gonna say it once, but yeah, like.
Wait, why can't you say it?
So there's bots that will come to your page if you say something negative about that. You can't say it 3 times like Beetlejuice. Like they will come to your page.
Oh, you thought I was thinking like Candyman. Okay.
Well, yeah, like that too. But yes, I like K-pop. I do, and I did listen to Golden before I put this on, and it's catchy. It's catchy, and I get it, and I guess it goes with the movie. I didn't see the movie. Did anybody see K-pop? Oh, I said it again. Jesus Christ.
One more time. Oh, you said 3 times. Are the bots about to material?
They might, but hopefully they listen. Some people are saying, well, you know, I forgot the song that was playing during the roof thing with all the the forms of music throughout the centuries.
Oh, and Sinners.
Yes.
No, I think it's gonna be Golden. It might be like it's kind of a weak year for original song. To be honest, sometimes it's just one of those years where there's not a song that's just like every now and then you'll get a song that's just like is really, really like you just can't deny it. Like Shallow, but like from Stars, like that was gonna win. Like it was a big song. Even people who didn't see A Star Is Born, New Shallow. Like if you have songs like that, or like
Shallow.
or like when Adele won for Skyfall, like there's just certain times where you just know. Whereas this year it's a little bit kind of like just get in line, just fall and get information behind Golden.
Has there been like a kid's song, because it just sounds so kiddie, that has won the Oscar before that? Like a juvenile song? No shade.
So Let It Go from Frozen Juvenile, that one best song.
Sure.
I mean, yeah, lots of Disney songs won Best Original Song. A Whole New World won Best Original Song. Beauty and the Beast original
that's
song.
classic shit. Like they're going up, I just, you know.
That's what I'm saying. It's subjective. Like what's good to you might be, a masterpiece to somebody else.
I guess. Like we are not comparing A Whole New World to Golden or what's the Little Mermaid song?
Part of that world.
Which one?
Part of the world. Part of that world.
Part of that world. Like I just feel like I can't put those two in the same category.
I mean,
but yes.
Yeah, my vote would be, well, not my vote in terms of the song I like the best, but my vote for what I think is going to win, I think it's Golden. I just think it's a weak year and there's nothing else. There's no like solid number two.
All right. So next category, director.
Paul Thomas Anderson. One battle after another. He's been nominated. After this year, you'll have like 16 nominations without a win. So like this is his year.
What are some of his other movies for the people in the chat?
So he did a lot of movies, like Boogie Nights is one of his big movies. He did There Will Be Blood with Daniel Day-Lewis. He did Phantom Thread, which I loved about a decade ago. He did The Master, which was really great with Amy Adams and Joaquin Phoenix. He's just put out like really great material. Magnolia with Tom Cruise back in the late 90s. Like he's just been doing really great. Like most of his movies are not like blockbuster, like mainstream movies. He's more of like an auteur. So like he's done like a lot of these smaller independent movies. In fact, One Battle After Another was like his first like major Hollywood blockbuster movie. Like he had like an $80 million budget. Most of his movies are like really small budget, very small scale. So but he's beloved in Hollywood.
Okay. Who else is just in the director conversation? Like, he's going to win, but who else is in the conversation besides Coogler and Paul Thomas?
Yeah, so Chloe Zhao will get nominated for Hamnet. They really like her, and she has the backing of Steven Spielberg. So Steven Spielberg produced Hamnet. So like he's been campaigning really heavily for it. So my favorite movie of the year was it was Just an Accident by Jafar Panahi. So Jafar Panahi is from Iran, and he's actually I'm pretty sure that there's a bounty out for him to be in prison because he is this filmmaker who makes all of these films essentially critiquing the authoritarian government of Iran and making all these movies throughout his career. He's been in jail for making some of these movies which have been called like insubordinate. And so he kind of has a narrative too, in the sense that, he made this movie in the country, even though he wasn't supposed to be there, but he made the movie in like a really short time frame. He wrote the movie, produced it, directed it, like pretty much almost like a one-man thing. I'm kind of shocked that the movie hasn't gained as much traction because I just thought it was just a phenomenal movie and he had the narrative. So I do think he still is going to get nominated, but I don't think he has a chance to win. And then after that, you'll probably have Josh Safdie, the Marty Supreme director. I think that's going to be the five. I think it's going to be Paul Thomas Anderson, Chloe Zhao, Coogler, Jafar Panahi from It Was Just an Accident, and then Marty Supreme, Josh Safdie.
I've heard that Sinners came out very early, and typically, if you're gunning for an Oscar, you release at a later date, close to the noms. They didn't expect the reaction they got for this movie.
Yeah, I mean they didn't. I don't. Yeah, so they didn't plan for it to be like a Oscar movie. There is something to that in the sense that usually like the Oscar movies come out in like late fall, in like early winter kind of thing. But every now and then you'll have a movie that kind of like Everything Everywhere All at Once came out in the spring, came out in like March or April. And then, it'll carry on throughout. Or you'll have like, Oppenheimer came out in the summer, or Silence of the Lambs won Best Picture, that came out in like February in 1991. I believe it was, maybe 1990. So every now and then you'll get like this big. Aaron Brockovich came out in March and then got nominated for Best Picture almost a year later. So every now and then you do get like these early releases that, because because they captured the zeitgeist, because they kind of stayed in the discussion, will carry through during the summer and become awards contender. But generally that is true.
By the way, y'all, if you were wondering, not only is Jared a politics nerd, he is an Oscar nerd too. Like, if there is a quiz on Oscars, you want him on your team.
I like trivia. So
right.
I used to host trivia when I lived in DC. So like I just enjoy Jeopardy is my favorite show, always has been. I just always like random stuff. It comes in handy writing a book because I remember things so easily. So dates and like very specific things that people don't really remember. Like, for whatever reason, I committed to memory. So
right. I'm kind of like that with the Grammys, not with the Oscars. But yeah,
I vividly remember. I'm like such an awards nerd. I vividly remember like watching the Grammys in 2000 when Christina Aguilera won Best New Artist, because everyone was predicting Britney, and I was like, the Grammys are not giving it to Britney because she's too mainstream, she's too pop, and I just felt like Christina was coming on at the right time, and the Grammys are snooty, so like they knew Britney couldn't sing, so like they weren't going to give it to her. So I was like, they're not going to give it to Macy Gray because it's like, come on. And then obviously Kid Rock wasn't getting it. So I was like, well, it kind of has to be Christina by process of elimination. And then when all the people were like, I was like, 12. But all the people were like discussing, oh my God, this was such a shocker. I'm like, no, it wasn't. If you just actually look at the trend of how the awards are doled out, like you can, more times than not, you can predict these things if you look at the trend. And so I usually do go through and look at like how much screen time these people have, like what are generally the nominations that go together and that type of stuff. There is somewhat of a pattern to it. It's not patternized, but there is something that you can kind of infer.
Someone asked, do you have a letterbox?
No, I don't have a letterbox. I've considered it, but I'm good.
So then next category, Best Actor. So Michael B. Jordan, he's in this category, but I feel like, it's going to be like a toss between him and Timothée Chalamet, who I have not seen this movie yet. I have not seen his performance in it. Apparently, like, it's good. Who else is like, who are the top in this acting category? And
so I'm actually not convinced that Timothée Chalamet is just going to sweep. So like everyone's already kind of preordaining him. And I do think he has a good chance because, this is his third nomination. As someone mentioned in the comments, he has been campaigning. Marty Supreme has done really well at the box office. Like, it's going to become A24's biggest movie of all time, which is a little bit misleading because all of these box office figures don't account for inflation, and movie ticket prices are up like 50% in the last like 5 years. So like there is that. So like you can't compare how much a movie made like 10 or even 5 years ago, let alone 10 or 20 or 30, because the price of going to the movies has gone up so much. So I really wish they would account for box office based on attendance and not receipts, but they're never going to do that because then it would expose the fact that people don't go to the movies as much. So this is what I'm always telling my students: the data don't tell you anything. Data are manipulated. Like, it just is what it is. Anyway, so like I'm not sold that he's gonna sweep because he's so young. And there's only one actor who has won Best Actor under the age of 30, and that was Adrian Brody at 29, almost 20 years ago. So usually in Best Actor, the Oscars are kind of snooty. They don't like to give young young men Oscars. So like, not in the leading categories. So you'll have people win in supporting, but they prefer younger women because, you know, it's men primarily, although they have diversified the voting block. But historically, the Academy was mainly men. So often you get these young and up and coming women who, you know, these young ingenues who would win. But for men, they were like, yeah, no, they need to wait their turn. So like, that's why, you know, Leonardo DiCaprio didn't win until like his 6th nomination. He was like in his 40s. Or like Brad Pitt didn't win until he was like in his 50s.
I never noticed that.
Yeah, or George Clooney was older, or like Tom Cruise has never won. Like they don't like
opposite for women. It's so
interesting. They don't like young heartthrob actors. Like they don't think like Matthew McConaughey didn't win until he was in his 40s for Dallas Buyers. So yeah, I do think that is something to keep your eye on for the acting categories. And if that happens, I think Michael B. Jordan is also going to be hurt by that because he's also still under 40 and they just don't like younger actors. And so I'm actually right now, I might change my mind on this, but I'm actually predicting Ethan Hawke to win for Blue Moon because this will be his 5th nomination. He's really beloved. I think he should have won for Boyhood. I thought he was fantastic in that. You know, I do think he's kind of one of those actors where
was good.
Yeah, he's really great in that. He's been nominated a ton of times. This is a transformative role for him. Sony Picture Classics. So this also matters who's distributing your movie because some distributors are really active in campaigning. So like Sony Picture Classics is distributing Blue Moon, his movie, and they've been campaigning really hard for him. So I'm actually predicting Ethan Hawke to win the SAG because Timothée Chalamet won the SAG last year, and I just don't see them giving it to him twice. And so, like, if Ethan Hawke wins, I think that might throw a wrench in kind of the Oscar voting because Ethan Hawke will win kind of as Oscar voting is like right in the thick of it, and I think that might carry him too, especially if he wins the BAFTA too. So my vote is going to actually be for Ethan Hawke right now, and I think Timothy is going to be the runner-up. Then the other two, I'm going to go with who else? Leo is going to be nominated for one after another, and then you'll probably have Wagner Moura, who was great, and he just won the Golden Globe for A Secret Agent, which is a Brazilian movie, which was again fantastic. So my 5 are Wagner Moura, Leo for One Battle After Another, Timothée Chalamet, Michael B. Jordan, and then Ethan Hawke, who I'm predicting to win right now.
I feel like they might give it to Timothy. I don't know. And then Adrian.
But I do think that something about the fact that they don't like younger actors winning is really sticking with me. Like, and it's a very compelling data point that has me pausing a little bit.
I swear to God, I did not know Adrian Brody. He looked like he was 40 at the time. So
when he won the first time back in 2004?
I guess so. Like, he looked old.
Yeah, he was only 29 when he won the first time.
Well, he looked 40. What did Timothy win last year for?
He won the SAG for A Complete Unknown, where he played Bob Dylan.
Right. Okay. All right, so that's the best actor category. And last but not least, it is the best picture one. And, you know, Sinners is a part of that. But what other movies in this category are hurting its chances?
Well, Sinners isn't going to win. One Battle After Another is going to win. So nothing is hurting its chances.
Matter of factly.
Well, I mean, again, like we knew it was going to be Paul Thomas Anderson's year. Like kind of how Oppenheimer. Well, as soon as I saw Oppenheimer in the theaters, I'm like, it's winning everything because Christopher Nolan had made so many good movies for so many years. Like it checked off all the boxes. It was a box office success. If they can find a movie that is both a box office success and critically acclaimed and by a director that they love, that's like a recipe for a win. Like, and so it just had.
I haven't seen Oppenheimer. Still haven't seen it.
Well, it's good. It's one of my lesser favorite Nolan films, which makes sense. Like kind of what I was saying earlier. Usually the things that win are not the things that I think are the best. It's usually the things that have the widest appeal. And like there is a trade-off between having a wide appeal and being really good to me. But anyway, so I think that's pretty much a done deal. I think if One Battle did not win Best Picture, I would be shocked if it didn't. So I think it's done. After that, I think number 2 is probably Hamnet. I think that if so, the Oscars, I think it's important to remember that Oscars don't do you don't just vote for one picture. They do a ranked choice vote. So you rank the 10 movies. It's not just one. And so like it really pays to be a movie that's well regarded, like across the board, as opposed to having a movie that is polarizing. So with Sinners, I do think you're going to get a lot of passionate votes. People just love Sinners, but I do think you're going to get a lot of people who are just like, I cannot vote for no big budget blockbuster vampire movie. Like, I just think that there's a lot of older voters.
Big budget, though?
Yeah, Sinners was a big budget. That was a big budget movie, both from the production and the marketing.
Huh.
Budget was at least 100 million easily.
Okay.
So yeah, I just don't think people are going to go for that. I think there's enough people who aren't going to go for that to make it viable. Now after that, it doesn't really matter because I don't think I think Hamnet is probably number 2. I would put Sinners at 3. 4 is probably, so you have a lot of international movies this year that are vying for Best Picture. So you have Sentimental Value, which I saw, very good. A Norwegian film, so that's going to be in the running. That'll probably get nominated. So you also have A Secret Agent, which I talked about, that from Brazil. Brazil has done really well at the Oscars of late. So like last year you had I'm Still Here with Fernanda Torres that got into Best Picture, and she got nominated for Best Actress. So that'll probably make it. I still think it was just an accident it's going to get in. I think it's again, because the Oscars are international voting block, I think that's going to be it. And I think No Other Choice actually has a really strong chance. I wouldn't predict it. I think it might be the last one in, but it definitely kind of has a Parasite feel to it. And I think in a year where you didn't have so many international films, I think it could be more viable. But I think it came out too late, and I feel like the other international movies have more momentum behind them right now. But I am still predicting it. So I think all 4 of the international films are going to get nominated. So you'll have my final 5 and Frankenstein. So my top 10 are, I think One Battle After Another is going to win. And then after that, I have Hamnet, then Sinners, Sentimental Value, A Secret Agent, It Was Just an Accident, No Other Choice, Frankenstein. I'm still missing a couple. What are some of the other ones I'm missing? What are the other ones I'm missing? Let me see what.
Maybe they know in the chat. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm trying to. What else did I forget? So I said Frankenstein, Hamnet, It Was Just an Accident, Sentimental Value, Sinner, Secret Agent. I'm also throwing in No Other Choice. Oh, Begonia. I think Begonia is going to get nominated for Best Picture, and Marty Supreme. So that's my 10. My 10 are Frankenstein, Hamnet, It Was Just an Accident, Sentimental Value, Sinners, The Secret Agent, Begonia, Marty Supreme, No Other Choice, and I think One Battle After Another is going to win it.
I'm probably going to see No Other Choice on my off day because I was trying to wait to see it, like to enjoy it with somebody, but I'm just like, let me just go by myself like I usually do.
It's good. I was actually surprised at how funny it was. Like, I knew it was a comedy or like a dark comedy, but there were at least like 4 or 5 moments in No Other Choice where I was like guffawing.
Wow. Well, I can't wait to see it. Who do you want to win? I know you know who's going to win, but who would be your pick for Best Picture this year at the Oscars?
Okay, so my favorite movie of everything, the only one of the major contenders I haven't seen yet is Frankenstein. Just not overly pressed to see it. If it gets nominated for Best Picture, I'll watch it, which it probably will. So I can't really opine on Frankenstein. But after that, so my favorite movie of the year, just in terms of the one I thought was the best, was It Was Just an Accident. But if I were an Oscar voter, I'm sorry, I would vote for One Battle After Another. Even though I had a lot of issues with it, I would vote for it because I just love Paul Thomas Anderson. Like, he's made like 3 of my all-time favorite movies. Like, I love There Will Be Blood. Like, it's one of those movies that I'm just so like every time I watch it, I'm just so engrossed in that Daniel Day-Lewis performance. It's just, yeah, but I love that. I love Phantom Thread. And I think Magnolia is amazing. So like, I want him to win because he's just done such great work for so long, and I want him to get his flowers. So yeah.
What is your favorite Best Picture of all time? Isn't it still American Beauty or no?
Oh yeah, American Beauty. Like, hands down. I recently rewatched it, like maybe like 2 or 3 months ago, and it still just holds up. It's just such a great critique of the alienation of capitalism in a way that I don't feel like any other movie has done justice to. Because what made American Beauty so great is it wasn't almost so too many of the critiques of capitalism take one or the other side. They either focus on how much we hate work, or they talk about how much consumerism sucks. But American Beauty took it a step further and thought about how this society completely upends what we think is valuable, like what we think is meaningful, what we think we should be passionate about, the things that make us feel something, even like libidinally. It was just a very thought-provoking movie, and it's hilarious. Like, and the acting is great. And I'm still upset that Annette Bening has not won an Oscar, because DreamWorks should have campaigned Annette Bening in supporting actress for American Beauty and not in lead. Like, I'm still upset about that. Sorry.
So yeah, I'll take this time, y'all, to do some questions if there are any. I know there were some.
Yeah, we even do the supporting categories. That's the more interesting one.
Oh, I just meant the one where like Sinners has like, you know,
Sinners has a shot as a strong chance. Like, there's a good chance that Momi Masako will get nominated for Best Supporting Actress. She got the Critics' Choice. She got the SAG nomination. She made the BAFTA shortlist, so she'll probably get in.
Okay, so supporting actress. I mean, I'm still.
Supporting actress is going to be tricky because I think
Ariana Grande. I'm sorry.
Oh, she's out.
I
don't even think she's a lock for the nomination anymore. Like, I think she's going to get nominated, but if I were her, I would be sweating on Oscar morning.
Although I enjoyed, I forgot her name, Amy. Yeah, I enjoyed her performance. I don't think it was like, okay, she needs an Oscar for that. Like, she was great.
But it's a support. So here's the thing. I have an issue with this. People need to. So back in the day, supporting categories truly meant supporting. Like, back in the day, people used to win supporting for like being in the movie for like 5 minutes or like a scene or like 2 scenes. Like in the movie Network, Beatrix, what's her last name? Beatrice, what's her name? Hold on, it's gonna bother me. Network, Beatrice Straight. She won Best Supporting Actress, and she literally is in the movie for like 6 minutes. Like, she has 1 scene, and she won an Oscar for it. Like, it was people being in the movie for like half of it, like Ariana Grande. That was rare. Like, that's category fraud to me. Like, you should not be supporting and be if you're in the movie for longer than like maybe 25 minutes, like, I think that's borderline an lead. In the sense that I get like time, like duration isn't the only metric, but like the reason it's not fair is because when you're in a supporting role and you're in it for that long, like, you can really develop the character. Like, you have more dialogue. We get to see more of your motivations. Like, you really get to develop the character in a way that if you only had 2 scenes or 3 scenes, like, you really can't do. So like, generally I like supporting performances that it's somebody that's not in it a lot, but if they're not on the screen, you're still thinking about them. Like, to me, that's the mark of a good supporting performance. Like, if you leave, am I waiting for your character to come back? Like, that's to me the best supporting character. But if you're Ariana and you're in like every other scene, like, why I can't miss you?
I think you also think that Jennifer Hudson was category fraud too, right?
What was the lead performance? She won, what's her name? Won the Tony for Jennifer for the same role. Like, it was a lead performance. Just like Viola in Fences, she won the Tony in lead, and she won the Oscar for supporting. So like, you are starting to see more people put themselves in supporting to bolster their chances. But I hate that they do that. Like, I'm sorry, but Ariana role, that was not a supporting role. Like, you could make the case that yes, Cynthia is the main protagonist, but in the second one, I feel like it's dual.
So in regards to the topic of Sinners, you think she has a chance?
Again, I do think there is the like genre bias. So I do think the fact that Weapons is a suspenseful kind of fantasy, I think that's hurting it a little bit. Like, I do think you're going to have that. But she does have kind of the, she's been nominated before, but she got nominated way back in like the early 80s. So it's been a long time since she's been relevant. She's married to Ed Harris, who obviously people really like. So I think that helps. And she is a standout of that movie. So like, if you like Weapons, probably what you like most about it is on Gladys. So like, I do think she has that going for it. But I think the fact that the movie Weapons is only going to get nominated for maybe It actually might get nominated for Best Picture, honestly. It did get a Producers Guild nomination, which the Producers Guild nominates their top 10. And there usually is a lot of overlap with the Oscar top 10, in the sense that usually have like 7 or 8 movies that get nominated for Producers Guild that make it into Oscar Best Picture. So it might. If Weapons is nominated for Best Picture, I think she has a better chance. If it doesn't, I think Tiana has a better chance.
This was my thought. Like, I was just only predicting MBJ to be the lone acting nominee for Sinners, but
I think a lot of people felt that way until again, Momi Masaku got nominated for the Critics' Choice and SAG. SAG is big, but you have a lot of overlap between SAG and the Academy. So that means she's really popular with the Actors Branch, and the Actors Branch is the biggest voting branch of the Oscars. So that bodes well for her. But also Miles Kenton got nominated for the SAG too, which is really big. And Delroy Lindo got the BAFTA long list, which means that he is at least in the top 10. So there's a chance he could get in too. So Sinners, in theory, could get nominated in 3 of the 4 acting categories. They're not pushing anybody in lead actress because you didn't have anybody whose role was big enough to qualify. But I do think it'll get nominated for Best Supporting Actress for sure. Mm-hmm. In Supporting Actor, I wouldn't predict it, but I think there's a strong chance.
Yeah. And just going back to Weapons for a second, I can understand when you said that, oh, is this character coming back? Because I wanted that bitch to die. Like, when she gets to that gay couple, I was like, oh, she is evil. And then how she was talking to that child, too, about his parents. Like, you say anything, start stabbing them in the face. I was just like, you know what? You're right. I can see that. Like, I really had a visceral, like, I was cheering when they tore her ass limb from limb. But yeah, like, if it takes that much from me, like that emotion, even if it's hate, then yeah, okay, she deserves it.
Oh, I wanted to talk to Canistraro, I guess.
Oh, this?
I agree. To me, yes, Whoopi and Ghost, that is the quintessential supporting role. She's only in about 20 minutes ago. She's not in it a lot. But she steals every scene she's in, she's like, you will love seeing Oda Mae Brown on the screen, because that was what a supporting role should be. You should not be in half of the movie as a supporting character. I'm sorry. But even like Heath Ledger, people don't realize he's only in like a third of the movie. He's not in a lot of it. But it seems like he's in a lot of it because his character is so big and it's such a great performance. But generally, supporting characters are not supposed to be in it that much.
Can you tell people the website that you showed me that shows how long an actor is in the movie, like the percentage?
Yeah, it's called Screen Time Central.
Screen Time Central. Or if you type it in the chat.
So it's literally just screentimecentral.com.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I can, but it's literally just screentimecentral.com.
Screentimecentral.com. Okay. But yeah, I think we covered the categories, y'all.
Yeah, because supporting actor, Sinners doesn't really have a big chance. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all it's viable for in the major categories.
Any other points you wanted to add before we head out?
I don't think so. Yeah, I think we covered our bases. Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to the nominations that's coming out and just to see if our predictions are right. And feel free to come back to this. You know,
yeah, they come out. The Oscar nominations come out next week, so maybe we do an episode, unpacking how successful I was at predicting.
Yeah, and also, y'all, please let us know in the comment section below if you would like a Grammys version of this conversation, because I definitely want to talk about the Grammys.
Yeah, although I thought this year's nominations were kind of underwhelming, but
yeah, a little bit.
Years not gonna be great. Some years you just have like a weak crop. It is what it is.
Oh, I also wanted to thank Rich the Fish for the super chat. It just didn't have anything to do with the topic at hand, but I think you heard like Bowen Yang and Matt Rogers talking about Jasmine Crockett or whatever. I already know what you're gonna say, so don't even say it.
Yeah, we can save that one for Poli Sci-Di.
Yeah, we'll save it for Poli Sci-Di. But yeah, when are the Grammys again?
February 1st.
Oh, that's pretty soon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Maybe we could do it before it. Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that.
That'll be fun. Yeah. That will be our next video. Well, we'll do a poly side eye before that, maybe. Oh yeah, y'all. Thanks, Jared, for this conversation. Thank y'all to the chat for participating. We love that. And yeah, where can they find you?
So you can find me. It's right here in Jayctigerfan. I don't really use Twitter anymore for reasons I've explained on Poly Side Eye, but I'm sometimes on Instagram. I try not to be, but sometimes I'm there.
Yeah, and also below I have his what's the other thing that you have? The Substack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, his link is in the description below too. But yeah, y'all, with that, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you